Hi, everyone. I'm Stan Mallow. Welcome to Paranormal Yacker. Built in 1847 on the banks of the Ohio River, the Belair House is reputed to be one of the most haunted houses in America. My guest today is Kristen Lee, proprietor of the Belair House Research Center. Kristen is also a mental health professional and a psychic medium who specializes in overcoming demonic entities. I'll be yakking with Kristen about her book, Paranormal Confessions, which contains true stories of hauntings, possession, and horror from the Belair House. Kristen Lee, welcome to Paranormal Yacker.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
The backstory of how you acquired Belair House, Kristen, and the circumstances that led up to the purchase of it is really astounding. Could you share that backstory?
My family was affected by 2 flash floods, and that led us without a home. I found the Belair House on a foreclosed list. When I saw the house, the inside of it, I absolutely thought it was perfect. Of course, remember, we were displaced for a few months. Seeing anything that was paranormal or not, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for stability. We moved in. It was a over the night type deal thing where when you look for homes, it normally can take months before you close. We saw the house, and then the next day, the realtor called and said, the bank accepted your bid. You can move in. We were so excited because we were going to start a new life, and it didn't turn out the way that it should have. There was a lot of paranormal activity that was there. And at that time in my life, I wasn't as educated in the paranormal as I am now, with investigations, learning different types of energies that the Belair House does put out. If it wasn't for the Belair House, I don't think I would have ever learned those energies. I feel like it has increased my ability to tap into certain types of energies and understand what they are and how those kinds of energies truly can affect a human being. In the beginning, I thought perhaps it was a nightmare, but it turns out that it's a research center, and I enjoy researching afterlife communication, and I truly enjoy helping other people that have difficulties with their homes.
How long after moving into Belair House did you experience paranormal activity, and in what form or manner did that first encounter manifest itself?
It wasn't long before we had moved in. There were still things that weren't in place. It was the gray apparition of the man. We were all sleeping downstairs on the sectional couch, and a gray apparition of a man appeared to me. The cushion went down, and when I sat up and legitimately opened up my eyes, I was coherent. You could feel something, at least I do. I can feel things that come on you, different types of energies. I was still able to do that then. I never felt a weight of an energy. That was the first time ever at the Belair House. The cushion went down, so therefore there was a spirit that had weight. It was masked. You could see through him, and it was male. I do clearly remember that. He was in the living room on the edge of the couch, but I could still see the piano, all of these things. Like even in the foyer, you could see that. It was startling. I mean, that part was very startling. That was the first like really profound experience that I had in the Belair House.
What was your initial reaction to the paranormal encounter you experienced?
It was very startling. The best way to describe it is if you're sleeping, somebody walks in the room. You know that there's somebody in that dark room. It could be one of the kids. You're sitting up and you open up your eyes, and it is a gray figure of a man that is translucent. 1,000 emotions going through. What do you do? This is frightening. This is startling. Not only working through thought process, but also working through emotions too, of fear, being startled. And then the dog was running around barking, and I saw my breath. It was so cold, and you could see Bella's breath because she was barking. That's really the best way I can describe that. Sitting down and writing things out, I think I'm better at that because of the reflection of the memory, because it was a traumatic experience. It truly was.
Since the early 20th century, Belair House has earned a reputation as a hotbed of paranormal activity with reports of apparitions, curses, psychic assaults, and violence. However, it was built in 1847. What event or events transpired in the house that caused the opening of the paranormal floodgates that now exist there?
It dates back further than that. The 1750s was the French and Indian War. Remember, we're only maybe 8 miles from Moundsville, West Virginia. So the mound builders actually were in West Virginia too, which is very close to Belair. It's just on the other side of the river. The land was also part of Shawnee and Iroquois. Captain Fink hauled coal on the river. Across the way is Wheeling, West Virginia, which was the red light district. We can go so far back. The history is so rich in this area. There was coal mine fires under the Belair House because Jacob Hetherington had coal mines there, and he's the one that is part of the Belair House history. With the coal mines being on fire, fire. I didn't find that piece of documentation going and looking for it for fires. It was actually in a gossip section. It was rumored that he had spent $8,000, $8,500 on putting out a fire in the late 1850s. With that, he left his house and all of his properties, everything, to his son, Alex Hetherington. And unfortunately, Alex was committed to a lunatic asylum. We do have his commitment papers. The other thing is Alex had two children, Lyde Hetherington and Edwin Hetherington. When Lyde and Edwin lived inside of the Bellaire House, Lyde had a heart attack and died. Edwin wanted to connect to his sister in the afterlife, and he asked for so many different psychic mediums. He referred to them as seers to come into the Bellaire House to try to connect him to his sister Lyde. I guess they were successful. I wasn't there, so I really don't know. He became so fascinated with it that all the time there was people coming in there. Then he did a turnaround when there was an explosion and more mine disasters, and men actually died. He opened his services up to their wives to try to connect to their husbands in the afterlife.
We have all heard the age-old riddle, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I am going to ask you, Kristen, a variation on that riddle, since it has my curiosity. Which came first, you being a mental health professional and a psychic medium who specializes in overcoming demonic entities, or you moving into Belair House?
I was in mental health professional field before the Belair House. I was always in tune with spirits, even as a child. The Belair House was like walking into a doctorate program of spirituality. It was just leveling up and leveling up. I was very resistant. There are some very negative entities that are there. It's not like I would open up my door and say, come on in, Charlie Manson and Ted Bundy, and let's sit down and have tea. I would prefer not to do that, but there are, like the Hetherington family, it took me a while to trust them because I didn't understand their energy. It was a lot. And Edwin being as probably beyond intellectual in spirit, I would definitely think that he would have ascended to a higher being, if that is even true, because then I've also heard theories that higher beings are just higher beings. I think it's the first way. It's so intellectual there, but then times like now, I won't go into the Belair House to clean by myself right now. We always have another person with us to check teams in or to do events, and nobody's ever allowed to stay there alone. We have let a couple of people do it. One, that's a very interesting story of one of them. A guy named Eric Connor stayed there, but he had to be on YouTube the whole time, live streaming, so we could all keep an eye on him. And he is a creator of a paranormal device called the Gateway. He decided he was going to put 3 gateways on in a circle, and he blew up a fuse. He blew a circuit fuse, and the Belair House was out of power. The apartments next to it were not out of power. There's an abandoned house next to the Belair House. Of course, it's not going to have power, but the one next to it didn't have power either. So we looked it up on the website, and there were less than 5 houses that were without power in Belmont County. That would have been the Belair House. He actually created a portal, and it blew up the whole surge. It just did a whole power surge.
Emily Davis is a shape-shifting entity who resides at Belair House. In your book, you mention how deceptive, confrontational, draining, and dangerous she can be. How do you deal with a spirit like that?
You can try to ignore them as long as you can. Eventually, they will get your attention. So you have to, first of all, there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to operate a location like the Belair House. It's a special diet, no meats, and it's hard. Sometimes you can have chicken, but make sure that you're not going into the Belair House. You have to span out your days and keeping a very squeaky clean spiritual sense about yourself when it comes to saging, using Palo Santos, using kosher salt and holy waters and different herbs and different oils, and locking your own home down, like where you live, your sanctuary, because you don't want things jumping with you and following you. You certainly don't. The Belair House is known for that. There's certain things you have to do, but inside of the Belair House, if spirit comes up on you like that, you have to stand your ground. You do. And don't challenge it. Just stand your ground. And then when you're done, just say, you know what? I've had enough of your games. You go your way and I'm going my way. Don't you dare come with me. That's what you have to do. And it can be high risk that something could happen. You don't want it to get to that point.
You've conducted numerous seances at Belair House. Do you have any rules or protocols, Kristen, that you require of participants at those spirit circles? And if you do, what are they?
Not so much at the spirit circles. Of course, we're doing an old-fashioned seance, and then we're going to do more of a communication seance with technology, because it's good to know how it originated and work the old school way, with the spiritualism, and then bring it up to par as we've evolved as paranormal investigators with equipment. But no, not so much at the seance table at the Belair House, no rituals of any kind. And if there are rituals done of any kind, I will personally come and ask you to leave and you won't get a refund. And that just started like 2 weeks ago. That has to be done, because if it's not, and we can't control the energy, then when Kat, Daniel, Lane, or myself walk in that house to check in the team and clean things up, I do not want to know what I'm not walking into.
At one of your seances, Kristen, you contacted entities who identified themselves as star people, beings we mortals commonly refer to as aliens or extraterrestrials. That had to blow your mind. I know it does mine. Could you elaborate on the dynamics of that seance?
That was a couple of years ago, and that seance truly shifted my perception as a human being on planets, on our solar systems, on the galaxy, on life forms. And I really feel like it increased my mediumship as well. They wanted to be referred to as star people. We know that there were Cherokee and Iroquois, so star people actually come from Cherokee. That's what they called the higher beings. The thing of it is, though, when they came to us, a typical earthbound spirit typically has 3 to 5 minute energy window to communicate with us. And then they have to either take our energy, and I'm not willing to give any of my energy away, or they just regain their energy in different ways. The star people communicated with us for almost 2 hours. When we realized that we were speaking to intellectually higher beings, star people, maybe a different star, maybe a different dimension, it was phenomenal because first of all, I had never ever thought in a million years I would be communicating with them. And it was confirmation it was real. Normally, when we're in a paranormal investigation, we're communicating with an earthbound spirit or a spirit from a different dimension. Could you tell us your name? Where are you from? Do you know where we are? We didn't do that. I didn't do that with the star people. I went in with big questions, like questions about us, questions about human beings, our humanity, our lifespans. I had asked back in the day, Obama and Hillary were running for president, and we asked, who's the next president of the United States going to be? And the response was, not the woman. And look what happened. It wasn't. And other things like that. There was one thing that really, what do we need to do? Or I asked them, what do we need to do as human beings to sustain life on Earth? And they said, love, harmony, music, love, harmony. And they were repetitious 3 times. And if we look back at last year, everybody in Italy was singing from their balconies and spreading that love, yes, harmony, and that music.
Bellaire House is home to many spirits, and they come from different backgrounds, such as the spirits of escaped African American slaves who lived during the Civil War and before. In your communication with these escaped slaves, have they told you what there is about Bellaire House that attracted them to it?
What I know is, first of all, they all want to be called servants because they did not want to be called slaves. They were free. They were free. The Belair House served as passage to them to get on Captain Fink's boat and get out. They went to the north. Remember, Ohio was a free state. Reverend Truman at the Methodist Church, it still stands today, it has Eliza Hetherington's Bible in a glass case in it. So it's a wonderful place. They would go there first. The founder of Belair, Jacob Davis, Jacob Hetherington with the Belair House, and Captain Fink, they were all abolitionists. So that's why they were here in Belair. And that's why they loved being in Belair, because they knew that they could see their families or get to wherever they wanted to go.
Helping spirits cross over to the afterlife is a big undertaking, and you, Kristen, have successfully done that. But what do you do when it comes to spirits who choose to remain earthbound and refuse, for whatever the reason, to not cross over?
I respect that, but they also have to respect that I'm occupying the space too, and so do other people. There has to be a common ground. And yes, there is spiritual negotiations. I could write a book on spiritual negotiations.
I will interview you on that.
That's for sure. But you just have to negotiate with them. You do. And then when they're ready, they will. Like, there's a spirit at the Belair House now. Her name's Mary. She doesn't want to leave because Sarah doesn't want to leave. But Mary helped pass over and transition and cross over multiple spirits one night at the Belair House when we actually did that. There's a whole chapter in the book about that.
From all the paranormal activity you've personally experienced and seen firsthand at Belair House, which ones, Kristen, frighten you the most?
I'm not sure if I can disclose that one.
I respect that totally. So some heavy stuff has come there and done with that. And when those things happen, how do you release those energies, those thoughts in your mind? Like, what do you do when something like that happens that's way so heavy on you?
I always say it like this. If you have a broken foot, you're not going to go see a heart doctor. You're going
Right.
to go see a podiatrist and a surgeon probably. So in times like this, I have to cling to Jesus Christ, the Holy Ghost, and God.
And that gets you through it.
It gets me through it, but it's what the house needs. It's because of what the entities are there, those types of energies that are there right now. That is what they know. It's almost like you have to understand multicultural religious diversity, not only with human beings, but also match it to spirit, the entity, the daemon that you're dealing with.
At the end of each chapter in Paranormal Confessions, you give helpful hints on how to deal with the situation written about in that chapter, be it the cleansing of a house of negative energies or keeping malicious spirits at bay. I compliment you, Kristen, for including that in your book, as it serves your readers well. And the book was great, but just for those alone, it would be of great service to a lot of people. I'd like to ask you, should viewers of Paranormal Yacker want to order Paranormal Confessions, find out about the tours, investigations, seances, and stayovers offered at Belair House, learn about your research center and psychic medium services, such as overcoming demonic entities? What is your contact information?
The contact information to write emails and visit the website is belairhousetours.com. The new book and the old book are not on the website. If you just go to any search engine and put in Paranormal Confessions, Kristen Lee, it's on multitudes of platforms. That's one way to do it. But if you would like to come and actually do a public event with us, or even privately rent the Belair House for your own investigation, you would definitely need to get a hold of us through the website, and that's belairhousetours.com. We do have a Belair House Facebook page, and moderators run it for me. When the emails come in, my husband and I directly get them.
Kristen Lee, I thank you for being my guest on
Thank you.
Paranormal Yacker. I wish you success with Paranormal Confessions and all the other projects in which you are involved.
Thank you very much. We'll have to talk in January. I'm actually going to move back in the Belair House in January for a 24/7 live broadcast.
Look forward to that too, and to your other books, and hopefully writing about the thing that you said you don't want to talk about, because that's a great cliffhanger for another book. Hi, everyone. I'm Stan Mallow, the Paranormal Yacker. I hope you enjoyed the interview you just watched. To be sure you don't miss any interviews on my free YouTube channel, all you have to do is press the subscribe button on your screen.